Hello and welcome to our quick start tutorial to the LOGIC CMS. The LOGIC CMS is at the core of our business cloud platform, and it allows you to set up your website and manage all the aspects of your online business. To get started, when we first deploy LOGIC, you'll see a splash page at your website URL. If you go to the website URL and put /admin after that, you're going to get to the login screen. So I'm going to go ahead and just log us in real quick here. And this is going to take us to the dashboard. If you're a first-time user, you're going to see the introduction tour that would take you through a few of the key aspects. We're going to say no thanks to that, but we will have the EULA, or End User License Agreement, and you can read through this. Gives you permission to use our CMS, then agree to gain access. What you see here is a clean install of the LOGIC CMS. You'll be prompted to add your Google Analytics dashboard so you can track information. Everything else is empty, so we're starting fresh. I'll show you a quick example. If I go over here, this is a sandbox of a website we set up previously. Google Analytics is set up so you have your dashboard view of user activity. And if we were to go into the website manager, you'd see pages were set up. So for now, if we go to our clean install, the first thing you're going to want to do is add a user. You got to add your team so they'll be able to access the CMS. You can do that from these controls here on the left side. Let's go all the way down to settings. From settings, go to user permissions, and you'll see my test user here. On the right side, click add user, and we'll put in a fake user. Let's go with Sammy Test Field. That must be Dan Testfield's brother. We'll give him a fake email address and a really super secure password, hopefully. And then you can assign a role. By default, we have admin and editor. The only difference is that an editor cannot add new users and they cannot delete current users. You can add additional roles to the CMS, but by default, these two are always there. We'll leave Sammy in as a admin. So we save that. We're going to see he shows up in settings. So very good. Ready to get started. So once again, I'm going to switch over to our site that is a little bit more populated. So if we would start on the left side manager here, and you'll see controls for website, blog, media manager, commerce. This has e-commerce installed on this CMS, and your settings. So within website, you have controls for managing your pages, your navigation, which would appear on the site, blocks, which are shared units, such as a footer, mobile footer, your header. Those are contained in blocks. And then form submission is a list manager. So if you create forms on the website, we're going to aggregate all the leads within the form submissions manager. And library modules. Library modules are units that you control, that you've created. So if you have some kind of an aspect like a email newsletter subscription or a contact form that you want to share across different pages, you can add it to the library and then call that up on different page layouts as needed. We also have a fully functional blog, which would allow you to create a blog homepage and create posts. We have a media manager for uploading your images, PDFs, any assets that are used on site. If your CMS does have commerce enabled, you have a commerce manager for managing orders, customers, products, gift cards, and your store settings. By default, you're not going to have that commerce setting. And then our global settings for the CMS. We already showed you user permissions. You would also have website settings, and this is really your starting point for configuring LOGIC before you even start adding pages. If you go into website settings, you're going to see it has tabs running across the top for different aspects for global controls of the CMS. In site identity, we're going to want to name your site. That can be the name of the business. It's not the URL. You're going to add your logo that would appear in the top navigation. You can also add a sticky navigation image, like maybe your sticky nav, as you scroll down, you're going to flip it and it's going to get a dark color. You could add a reversed out or white logo. You can add your favicon. You would select your home page from available pages that you've created, and you configure all your header options, navigation. You can drop in your analytics code here, your dashboard view ID for Google Analytics. You can also insert your metadata for SEO purposes. Then always save whenever you're making these changes so that they will be applied system-wide. Social media settings, you could add in your Facebook or different media outlets in here. So if they're called upon throughout the site, they're set here. Site styling is very important. This is where you set up your body, font, color, all the different controls, link, color. You would set up your heading. So if you're familiar with web development or SEO, you've got your H1 through H6 tags. These are your headlines. You could determine what font they're going to be and what the color is, what size by default. That way you can have a consistent experience and design across the whole site. It's all controlled from here. You have your font management. Will show you what fonts would be enabled on the website, as well as allowing you to put in custom Google fonts or upload Adobe Creative Suite fonts to be used for your site. And if we go back over to the website tab, once you have your settings set, you would then go into pages. You start adding your first page. Now this site has already been configured, so we have pages set up here. If we were going to add a new page, go over to the right side, click on the Add New Page button, and you're going to come to a form where you could create your page. Now we're going to have a different tutorial on how to add pages, so we'll go more into depth. The only thing required to add a page is just to give it a title. So we'll call this one Test. Let's call it Test 2. And we'll save that. And now we're going to go to our page editor with a blank or empty center column where we're going to put in our content. And then on the right side, you would have your controls for the page. So let's back out of there. Let's go, you can see a listing of all your pages you have, what their status is if they're enabled, and controls to delete, to duplicate or clone a page, to preview a page, or edit. I'm going to go to the home page. Let's just do a quick preview. It's going to pop that page open. You can see we have a page that's configured with the logo that we saw in the settings. Also has our navigation and has a hero panel. We have 3 columns here with call to action buttons and some content. And then we also have these, scrolling down a little lower, these content units with images and text on a shaded background. And then we've added a little parallax image here with text and some additional copy followed by a form. So I just wanted to kind of run you through the structure of this basic home page, because now on the back end we can go into the editor, that home page. Let's edit it. You'll see that the modules and the layout are reflected from the back end here as well. So let me just get rid of that. So once again, going from the top, we have the hero panel, which is in a full width section here at the top. We have those 3 columns we viewed with call to action buttons. We also have the content areas that alternated image and then text. Image on the left, text on the right, then text on the left and image on the right. Followed by that parallax unit, which was the reach new heights in web development, and the text block and form. So if we go back, keeping this structure in mind, we go back to our home page, you'll see that it's laid out very logically. It's a kind of a one-to-one layout in the editor. So let's go back into our editor. I'll show you something that's pretty cool. Everything is drag and drop. So we've created these sections. If I wanted to rearrange them, you just grab here and oops. Let's drag it there. Same would apply. Let's just go to the front end. We can refresh. So I've just swapped out the content sections on top of those 3 columns there. And the same would apply at a module level. So I can grab a module and move it over here and then like swap these out there, and that would also rearrange them on the front end. So that's a little bit of an introduction to the editor. We'll go into more depth in other tutorials about how to create a page and how to edit pages. Let's go back into the Pages Manager and the Website Manager and see what other features we have. We have navigation. This is where you control your top nav. Once again, this is drag and drop. So if we have a page here, we have About, Services, Catalog. We could go back in here. We can just simply change the order, which would be reflected on the front end. So it goes from About, now Services is in front. We also have the ability, if it has this arrow here, that means there's nested navigation. So we can form drop menus. And those are edited the same way. You can drag and drop to change the order that they appear in. I'm just going to switch this back to where we had it. And so that's how you control navigation. We have blocks. Blocks are sections that are common. They're like template elements. You have footers, you have mobile footer, you can create panel navigation. Those are giant, big panels that will drop down from the menus. You could add modals that would pop up and new blocks. And these are shared resources across the site. We have form submissions. Form submissions is a list manager for any forms on the front end that you've created. So if we went back here, you see we have this contact form on the front end. When those forms are submitted, they aggregate in the list manager. So I don't have anything currently in this test site, but this is where they would appear. Now, library modules are a very useful function. These are modules that users create. So if you set up something such as an email subscriber box on your home page, you want to share that on other pages, you can save that as a library module. Or if there's a content block that you want to repeat on different pages, save it to the library. Then when you're creating a new page, you can just call that module up from the library. We also have a fully functional blog, allows you to create a blog homepage and individual posts. We have a media manager for uploading your assets, such as PDFs and images. This particular site is enabled with commerce, so it has all the e-commerce features. And we have the settings where we started. So that's the basics of the LOGIC CMS, and we hope that you will dive in a little bit deeper with some of the individual shorter tutorials that will give you greater details on how to create elements on your pages. So dive in, take a look, and let us know what you think. Let us know if you need any help. Good luck.